Welcome to In the Waiting Room, where we're not just here to entertain you. We're here to peel back the layers of what it really means to be an actor. A lot of folks think that the moment you see someone on the screen, they must be a high roller, bringing in top dollars. But the truth is, no one really knows the story behind the contracts. Every actor has a different deal, and every actor's situation can be quite unique in the grand scheme of things. That's the ambiguity that fascinates me, and frankly, it's part of what makes this industry so perplexing. You see, actors live in a world of economic categories: day players with one liners, guest stars, major role performers, recurring guest star, series regulars. These aren't just fancy titles, they're pay scales. They're the invisible scaffolding that determines who gets what slice of the pie. And sure, if you're number one on the call sheet, the show likely revolves around you and your paycheck reflects that. But that's not the reality for the vast majority of working actors. Most of them are navigating a complex web of negotiations, just trying to find stability in a field that's anything but stable. So today, I want to take you behind that curtain. We're going to talk to Deirdre Lovejoy, someone who's walked the path from a place like Evansville, Indiana, to the stages of Broadway and the gritty realism of The Wire. We're going to peel back those layers and get real about what it takes to survive and thrive in this business, not just as a performer, but as a human being navigating the realities of an often misunderstood industry. Take a listen. Welcome to In the Waiting Room podcast, where we dive into the real lives of working actors. Whether you trained at top schools or came up through self-made hustle, this space is for honest conversations about the grind, side jobs, the craft, and the faith it takes to keep going. I'm Rashad Edwards, your host, and this podcast is about the journey between the big breaks. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at In the Waiting Room Pod, and if you're a working actor, fill out the survey in our bio so we can learn from your journey too. Let's get into it.
I'm wearing a DR from Detroit sweatshirt. What do you want?
What is that? What is it?
This is a great show. I just did several episodes of. Have
Okay.
you ever heard of it?
I've heard of it, yes, vaguely.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's you should check it out.
What
It really it's it's a show on BET. We can watch it on Amazon Prime also. But the killer of the show is it's all written by, created by, and starring this woman, Deara Kilpatrick, and I find her to be exceptionally talented.
Really?
Like a really exciting, creative person to
Yeah.
meet because she does it all. She actually writes the show with her husband, but she's it's kind of very impressive when you see someone so young doing all that with such ease and
Yeah.
making such a fun show. I'd never heard of it. I'd never heard of it until I got the audition. And so I watched. I sometimes, if I'm moved to, I will actually watch
Mhm.
and the whatever it is I'm auditioning for, just to get a sense of the tone. And I rarely make it past an episode or even through the whole episode. And I flew through the whole first season because
Well,
I was hooked. Yeah, it was good. I'm gonna clean my camera off a little here with my sweatshirt. There we go.
And what kind of role do you play in this?
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I had fun.
Is this for an
And
upcoming season?
it's for the second season, which hasn't been released yet or anything,
Yeah.
but a very interesting interloper in the story is what I play.
Yeah.
I did get to work with Glenn Turman, who I
Yeah.
knew from The Wire. I don't know if you
Yeah, I
know
worked with
that
him
actor
too.
is. I got to do some fun stuff with Glenn, which
Yeah.
was lovely. I haven't seen him in a million years, so yeah.
How long? So you guys collaborated in The Wire together, right?
That's right.
And that was
That's
the
right.
last time you've seen each other, like what, 08?
I think
09?
I've seen him I think I've laid eyes on him at some point in the last 20 years or however long it's been since The Wire, 20 years, 25 years. Uh, but I was playing scenes with him, that was a treat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, because he's a pretty, very, very amazing person,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Uh, what did you have a chance to take a look at the, survey?
The survey, I did, and I will complete it,
No, no, don't worry.
because I think there's great value in it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love that. Is that something you decided to do or
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I decided I wanted to really, start to get some insight into the details and not just be vague about how we go about this industry. You've got a lot of skin in the game, so, it'd be great to hear from you, um, really about, you know, looking at the part of your career, the choices that you made, the risks you took, and what was the logic behind it, um, from your perspective.
Well, wouldn't it be nice if I thought of my career in that kind of linear way? Like that I made decisions and did that, and I'm afraid I spent my early career time, showing up for things that were presented to me and moving in the direction when I got a job. I really feel, if I had been more intentional, if I had been more present in my early career, things might have gone a lot differently. I do appreciate the intentionality that one must have, I think, to survive today. But also, I appreciate intentionality, period, because I think it works, and I think it's important for artists to claim that, define it, articulate it for themselves. I never did. So I'm in my early years. I think in the past decade, I have come to an awareness that that is everything.
Really?
Yeah, that is the most important piece of the puzzle. Being intentional with not only your desires, but your thoughts and your actions. Really, your thoughts. So, yes, I wish I could tell you that there was a great plan. Out of grad school at NYU, I got an agent. I went right into Shakespeare in the Park, as a lot of in the non-equity company, as a lot of people did. And then wound up getting my equity card at the Public Theater a few months later, doing understudying and replacing Elizabeth McGovern in Midsummer Night's Dream. So I sort of moved through my jobs as they came to me, and didn't uh didn't direct the ship. I wasn't steering the ship in those early years. I felt very much like I was in a system, and I also, being a young woman at the time, I certainly never felt like I had agency with agents. I certainly, people would say, they work for you. And I'd be like, really? I don't know that I believe that. Um, I live on the loudest corner in Brooklyn, by the way.
I
So,
can't hear anything, but
you will. Oh, you will, Rashad. You will. Anyway, yeah, I think, that's, uh, intentionality with career and with oneself is, a gift of maybe, knowledge and experience, and
Mm,
I think now, because of the body of people that are sort of around from NYU grad, that and they have a mentorship program now. I think there is more of an awareness that one can create one's own path. One does, one always does. But back in the day, we were trying to get plugged into the system.
So did it
We were trying to play with the system.
yeah, so did it felt random, the industry?
Oh my gosh, random and restrictive. Random and restrictive. Don't do this, don't wear that, don't cut your hair, I mean, I came of age in a very different time. Uh, there were lots of things happening in my life. I was told to keep to myself. It would hurt my career.
Like what?
Um, like when I left my husband for a woman. And I went and just told my agent that that was happening. Hashtag bisexuality is not a big deal these days. But 30 years ago, what? That's great. Don't tell anybody,
So
and
this was 30 years ago, well, when this happened?
well, this was in 1980. I can tell you the year. This was in 1988, 91, 1991. And I sat down with a conversation with my agent, and he was all for how my life was changing and how I was discovering things about myself, and told me in no uncertain terms to keep it to myself.
And
That would be very,
what
very harmful to my career.
and how did that inform your decision?
Well, it informed my life is what it did, because uh if you're trying to play in a system run, and I'm talking 1991, so forgive me if I make basic generalities.
No, it's okay. I
Uh
want you to go. No
yeah,
judgments.
if you're trying to get jobs from the white man, you better be attractive to him, and if you're not blankable, you're not going to get hired. I was told that
Yeah. Bye.
by my agent. I won't name
You
the
still have
name.
you don't you still
No, I was with that agent for 15 years. He's a lovely man, and he was gay, so he wasn't, passing judgment. He was trying to help me.
yeah. He was being
But
realistic with the industry standards at the
I,
time.
I guess, yeah. And so, you've got to be fuckable to get hired. It was the deal.
Yeah.
And you know what? And P.S. Rashad, in my life have, I've spent the last couple of years for me have been solely about recognizing the belief system that was installed in me and trying to get rid of it, and trying to find out what Dee Dee likes.
Oh.
And that has been a very illuminating and wonderful process that I am very late to the game with. And so I take it personally when I talk to young actors, or when I'm out in the world relating my experience. I grew up in Indiana in the 70s, and the mindset was extremely patriarchal. And you did this, you got married, you did this. And you know what? Then I moved to New York City and became an actor, and you would think I would have some more choices that would present themselves to me, and I would see choices, but I was so enmeshed in what I thought the track was, get married, have babies, do your, maybe have a career kind of thing. That's not true for everyone. I'm telling on my limited thinking is what I'm doing right now. I had very, very limited thinking. So, um, yeah, for me, my self-expression was stifled by me, as I tried to fit myself into this uh, corporate system of entertainment. I don't know how to describe it other than that. And I don't know if that even makes any sense, but
Yeah.
that's what I feel like I have been extricating my soul from these past 2 years, and especially the last year. Um, and I kind of consider it my mission now as an artist.
So could you get a little bit more specific about what that is? You say you've been trying to break away from something and and find out what Dee Dee likes. What specifically kept a hold of you? Was it from your childhood, your upbringing? Was it um
Do you know what? That's a great question, and I think it was my upbringing for sure. Um, because I don't. Yeah, I don't have any other way of. I don't know what else the influence would have been other than my upbringing.
what
I'm a Cancer. I'm a people pleaser. I'm, I'm at that point in my life when I was certainly at NYU, I would consider myself a relatively sort of, young, insecure actor, looking to find my way and looking for approval and looking for work and looking for jobs. And I thought there was one way. And even if I would, I don't, I've got to find a better way to articulate this, but let me just say limiting belief systems are rampant in our world. In fact, I think the only um, limitation that we have as humans is this thing appears are our thoughts, are our belief systems, what we imagine is possible, what we dream is our purpose, and that's a very freeing new thought for me because I have lived decades and decades of my life as a working actor, but I I limited my own creativity and my own self-expression because I viewed it through the lens of commercial theater, commercial this, commercial that, corporate this, commercial that, corporate this, corporate that. Um, and I have attempted in recent time to release myself from the bondage of self,
all right.
uh, and give myself full permission to express whatever that is.
Well,
And and
what were those limited beliefs? Do you have any?
the limited belief is that um, my femininity is expressed only in one way. My masculinity is expressed only in one way. My relationship behavior is expressed only in one way. All of which feeds into my creative potential as a human being. So if I was told at a young age that queer people are perverted and wrong and dangerous and not uh something of value. If I was told that I had to keep my hair a certain way and dress a certain way to present as a hireable commodity, if I was told that I could write a play, but it couldn't be about certain things because that wouldn't be acceptable. Um, I uh, things like
Yeah.
that,
No, I understand
things
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you wholeheartedly believed those things. You believe
I
in you
did.
are
That's the kicker because here I am. I'm fairly mature now. I'm in my 6th decade.
oh, good.
Um,
We did quite
I
well. It didn't damage you in physical
Well, thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm in my 6th decade, and only now have I given myself full permission to write whatever the F I want, to speak whatever the F I want, and to say, you know what? I don't know about that. I've got to find my own way through to my own opinion. I think I have subconsciously bought the lie of one way of thinking about the world, about my humanity, about the universe. This is a whole meta conversation that has really not a lot to do with acting, but everything to do with acting.
No, absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, so
Question: Did what was your husband in the industry?
my husband was,
Your ex-husband, I'm sorry.
we were my ex-husband, yeah, sorry, yeah, I call him my husband because it's the only I've had a husband, I've had a wife, I'm still figuring it all out. I, met him in college. We were at the University of Evansville theater program together and, fell in love and moved to New York City together. And he was an actor and a director and a carpenter, and he was the show carpenter at Playwrights Horizons for many years, which was nice when I was at NYU because I got to see all the original productions of Once on This Island, all everything that Sunny in the Park. I mean, everything that I saw all these great shows at Playwrights Horizons back in the day because of that. Um, and I got married when I was a month away from being 23. I was very, very, very young. And I personally don't believe one knows who one is
Well, you
at
grow
that
up
point.
together.
Yeah, we did grow up together. And actually, it's interesting, we're still friends. He came and saw a production of POTUS that I was performing in at the Geffen last February. And we had a lovely time. And I was actually dating my understudy at the time. Um, and he met her, and it was all fantastic. But the evolution from, you know, our initial relationship, you know, which was very specifically structured in my mind, to last year was great.
Yeah.
And he's doing very well, and I'm okay. So
You didn't get remarried?
he did, yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He has a beautiful family, beautiful wife, who is in the business, writer. They have two beautiful children who are now in college or graduated from college, and all is well.
No
Yeah.
kids for you?
No kids for me. I am the mother of Mr. Pickles. He is my
What's that? What was Mr. Pickles?
Mr. Pickles is my dog.
Huh?
He's right next to me. He just raised his head because he heard me say his name.
Now, was that a specific choice you made, to not have
No.
children?
Well, I did make the decision to not have children, but I don't know if it was as conscious as I would have preferred, but I'm certainly a great believer in we arrive and we are where we're supposed to be.
Mhm.
So I walked through this life knowing that that wasn't the path for me this time. And I don't have regrets about that or
Yeah.
anything because that would be a very patriarchal way to think, wouldn't
What
it?
So
Yeah.
question, this is just moving topics. When you think about certain actors that break through, and others that don't, what patterns do you actually see for those that do and those that don't?
I see a relentless belief and desire from the ones that do break through. Nothing can tell them that they won't, they will, they must. They are relentless in their drive, in their execution, in their thoughts. Mostly, it's in the mind. And people that are not, I'm not saying that I am not implying that you can solely think your way into a great career. I'm not implying that at all. But I am saying that the mental discipline and repetition of certain beliefs and certain uh, intentions are very, very powerful. I Marcia Gay Harden was in the class right beneath me at NYU.
Um,
And that woman came in, and I knew from the moment I saw her showing in that Schubert Theater on the fifth floor of her audition. I was like, oh, I saw it. I saw it in just And then meeting her personally, there was an intention and a drive there, and that person has an Oscar. Same thing
Yeah.
with, Rami. Same thing with, my friend Cameron Manheim, who is my favorite person in the world. I
Yeah.
look up to her. I value her friendship more than life itself. I can't even. Well, I don't value her friendship more than life. That was a really inappropriate thing to say. I value her friendship greatly, and what that person knows is there is a means to an end, and there is a step by step process. And when I am at sea, or in need of direction, or even if I need to know how to write a good letter, guess who I still pick up the phone and call? Cameron Manheim, because she has an inherent, because of her upbringing, those belief systems are so strong, and those neural pathways are very specific, and no one could stop that human being from being successful in so many parts of her life because um the intention and the discipline is there.
Yeah.
Probably not very helpful for listeners because we want to know exactly. Let's call Cameron right now and get her on the phone. She'd probably jump in. You should have her on your show because she is the bomb.
Well,
She is the
well,
Pied Piper of
yeah,
actors.
yeah. No, she's I've met Cameron. She came and spoke to our class and then also invited us out to her home
Yeah,
for a showcase weekend.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
She had
That's what she said.
a lot of good things to
Well,
say.
you know what? I went to New York University Graduate School. We were the first. Cameron and I were in a class of 26 people, 26, and Zelda Fitzhandler had just taken over the program. We were her first hand selected class, and our function at that time within that institution was to give her feedback about our experience so that she could mold the program to her liking. And we would come in and say, this voice teacher is not cutting it, and they would be gone in 3 months. So, and we also went through a cutting process similar to what Juilliard used to do. I don't know if they still do, but back in the day, they would take 26 people, take their money and train them for a year and a half, and then say sayonara to 10 of those people.
Wow.
And we said, that sucks.
Yeah.
We said, you know what? Why don't you just settle on 16 people, 18 people, and train them the whole time so that there's not sort of a guillotine hanging over our heads for a year and a half while we try to, not perform, while we try to really exercise our craft muscles. And to their credit, they listened. And NYU now takes 18 students, and that's that. And that is because we were
Well, it's 16.
adamant about, or 16, that's right. And and so you're welcome. You're welcome, NYU students.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was wondering if they would increase the numbers at any point.
Well, they may, but they'll still cut them in a year and a half and just take money, I think, probably, because there's too many people. You can't properly train 26 people. You
Yeah.
can't, not with their current staff,
So
but
16 became that magic number.
I think I mean, from what I hear, it's worked out fairly well. People couldn't even fathom having a larger sort of crowd to pick from,
Yeah.
and weed out. It doesn't, it's hard enough to be an actor. It's hard, and I love actors. I love actors. You and I attended a salon last night where actors jump in and read other people's work, and I fall in love with actors every time I'm in the theater or at an event like that because I think, God damn, we are so brave, and there's something so completely, stunningly beautiful to me about someone throwing themselves in
Yeah.
and being willing to make mistakes and not do things perfectly, and all of those things. and it's a rare thing that actors do, and it's important for the normies to see people jump into experience like that, and to witness then what it is we go through. I think it's magic, and I think our place in the world is essential, and I don't think we are honored in the world the way we should be for the important work that we do spiritually for the rest of humanity.
I was going to ask you,
Humanity needs a bit of a mirror, and we are that
yeah,
mirror.
I was going to ask you about that. So when you step on stage or on set, what do you imagine yourself doing? Is it a job or is it some sort of um, pulpit for you? Um,
Not at all a pulpit, but I step into every job, and my mantra is, "How can I be of service?"
Mhm.
Whether that's keeping my mouth shut and not talking all day and just being quiet and helping the machine run, whether that's having conversations with younger actors that come up to me and say, "Oh, I'm, a big fan of The Wire," or whatever. "How did you blah blah blah?" I always attempt to be present
Yeah.
for whatever the experience is going to be. And one of my favorite catchphrases is happy to be here, here to be happy. You know, if I'm not spreading the joy, then I need to sit down and shut up. You got to spread the joy, or why else are we here? Everyone is afraid. Everyone is terrified. Everyone is insecure. Everyone doesn't feel like, whatever. It's important that people are validated, that experience is validated, and especially with actors on a set, they're usually so excited to be there,
Yeah.
so excited, just so excited, just be sitting in their chair,
Mhm.
and that that just goes right to touches me, and so I like to be present. I like to uh, answer questions if people have them. If nobody's talking to me. I like to do my work. I love to act, and I do find that I have a certain skill set, many many decades into this work, that is important, because I am that person that can do 90 things in one take because there are 2 minutes left to go, and I appreciate that about myself, that
Mm.
I can bring that to, uh, a production. So I love working generally, um, sometimes more than others. Um, but I do consider each job, or each day at the job, an opportunity to show up and be of service to someone other than myself, of course. You know,
Is acting your main source of income?
that is my main source of income.
And how
Yes, I have
for
been.
how long has that been with the reality
Oh
crew?
my gosh. Well, a long time. Ever since The Wire, which oddly enough I made not a lot of money on. None. That wasn't a financial enterprise, let's just say, in any way, shape, or form, which is a misconception that people, I think, also have about me in general, because I have had a career where I have worked a lot, but I am always a guest star. So, other than The Wire, I've never been a series regular, which is how you make secure money. I have cobbled together a very nice existence, but yeah, I have avoided the waiting tables. I drove a limo for a while. I worked in an office. I did lots and lots of side gigs up until getting The Wire. And after I booked The Wire, they didn't provide financial security, but it provided enough zhuzh so that other people started to hire me. And I have cobbled together a decent existence financially, but never anything extravagant. And people do, I think, I have encountered lots of people that think I'm a very wealthy famous actor, and I consider myself a journeyman that, if you need I'm the good pinch hitter, I'm the good guest star. I can
Yeah.
come in like that, and, I get
Now,
paid to come and cry. I get paid to come
yeah.
and whatever. Yeah.
Who do you think decided that you would be the featured guest star instead of a series regular?
Well, I think my limited thinking probably kept me there for a long time because but that's a whole other podcast, Rashad. That's a whole other podcast. I did it to myself for a long time, I think. But also, it's a roll of the dice. And first of all, if you're a woman in this industry, you have one ninth of the jobs that the men do. Um, and that changes as you age. So I also then encountered, I was in Los Angeles until I was 50, and when I hit 50, that town dropped me like a hot potato. And I thought, you know what? I've still got some life in me. I think
Yeah.
maybe I'll go back to the theater, which is my heart and soul, and I think there will be roles for me there. And so I returned to New York and to the theatrical community because my turn away had been great.
Yeah.
But I did have to reclaim that part of myself and remember why it is I was doing what I was doing, because I did fall into just, you know, booking the guest spot and going in and do that, and maybe this will lead somewhere, and well, it leads to the next guest
Guest star.
spot.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Um, do you think this balance that you've had is true for most actors in the industry? That balance where you could do the TV and film and then go to do the stage? Or you
We don't
consider
have
yourself lucky?
I don't know. You know what? I'm not gonna speak for anyone but
No, I want you
myself.
to. I want you to. I just thinking, do you think that it's that you based on what you know, that that balance exists for
I think
many actors
one
or just a small portion of actors?
I think it's a constant struggle, challenge. I'm gonna say challenge instead of struggle. I think it's a constant challenge for every actor, hands down, no question. I think that's it. I think that's the
Yeah.
secret sauce. I think, uh, finding a way to cultivate appropriate balance in one's life is the goal anyway. But in this particular industry, which rewards you and only pays you cash money that you can survive on, one time out of every 15 that you try for it, or one time out of every 20, however many auditions you have to do to book your Law and Order so you can eat for the month. Uh, gets heavy. Living under the weight of that gets heavy. Also, the reward for your true creativity. Say you've written a play, or you're directing a play, or you're acting in a play. That's sort of where my heartbeat lives, and that is not a financial endeavor. That costs. That even if you have a career as let's say a Broadway actor. I've done 4 Broadway shows. Um, but you can't survive on you can survive. If you're making a living wage only once every couple of years, you've got to figure out how to cobble together existing in between. And I think that requires a steady, for lack of a better term, day job. Now, all that's transformed since, I mean, when I came up, there was no internet. I mean, it was that long ago, right? So now there are lots of things actors can do, remote work, and you don't have to live in New York City anymore. These are all things that weren't the case when I was coming up as a young actor. You had to be here. You had to be here or Chicago or LA to work as an actor. Period. You could not live anywhere else. And there's great freedom in that now. We can go and have a nice, calm life in the country with some chickens and a garden in the back. That's my goal now. Um, and still send in tapes and go all over the world and work if we choose. Now, that is a beautiful thing. And that is a gift to every young actor now that they aren't trapped in a metropolis, that they don't have to be a slave to concrete anymore,
Yeah.
which is I think important on a level for our souls. Um anyway, lots of things have changed, but I think finding that balance between maintaining your financial health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, that is our sort of dance as human beings, isn't it?
Convenience.
Finding a balance between having a family or and having a job. If you're a woman, you're supposed to be able to do all of that at the same time. If you're a man, you just have to work. I mean, it's a
That's,
deal. It's a
that's,
deal.
that's
I know
not
I'm being
true.
very black and white, but on purpose.
Yeah.
There is a lot of gray, and I think people claiming their power and being intentional about how they shape that gray is the gift of 2025. I mean, there's not a lot else more to be grateful for in this year, but that does exist. That ability to be flexible and fluid with our life choices, so that they integrate in a way that lets the artist's soul sort of breathe and create and sustain. That's a beautiful thing, and I think it's different for everyone. So you must listen to all sorts of different opinions about how people navigate that. You must give yourself permission to create your own specific design of
Yeah.
how you want to design I had a problem saying I had a career until, about 20 years ago, because it just seemed like a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Just seemed like a crapshoot. How do you call a crapshoot a career? I booked the wire from sitting in a downtown real estate office trying to sell real estate after 9/11.
You were trying to sell
Downtown
real
in
estate.
downtown Manhattan. It's a process everyone, I think, has to embrace and not be scared of, and not feel like they have failed because they don't know how to make money or be sane and still be no, how why would you know? It's an individual path that will be different for everyone. And so embracing that unknown with a joy and a permission,
Mhm.
kind of an attitude of permission for yourself, I think is very important. And I didn't arrive to that opinion until much later in my career, in my life. Yeah.
Yes. And what's your booking ratio?
Wouldn't that wasn't how do you calculate that? What that's
None of our
math. Yeah,
none of
no,
our
that's math.
district none of
Rashad,
our
I don't do
districts.
math. I will tell you that I have only booked one, two, three, four, five, six jobs from self tapes in my entire life.
Out of how many self tapes? Let's just
Like
take the
that'll
last
be
let's take the last 5 years.
okay. Well, it would have to be probably about 100 self tapes, I would imagine.
And how many of you booked?
Um,
100.
Five.
Five. Oh, so the five came in the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, that's depressing. Don't look so sad,
No,
Rashad.
no,
It's
no, it's okay. It's okay. Now, and so
it also says a little bit something about my attitude, though, because I think I for many, many years, and this is a whole other story, that I don't have time to be so specific about, but I will just say that for years, I would get an audition and immediately talk myself out of it. Immediately come up with all the reasons why I wasn't gonna get the job. It was At the time, self-protection, and it morphed into a very self-destructive thought pattern. I arrested that a couple years ago when I realized what I was doing, and since then, I book jobs.
Mhm.
But it was all up here, and I'm pointing if you're just listening, I'm pointing at my third eye
Yeah.
inside of my head.
All right.
Yeah,
So let's take
was
it through.
very
Let's walk through this. So you get an audition, you look at the breakdown, and you go,
now,
no, I'm saying
then
then.
I would let's say I would get an audition. I will give you a specific example. Um, I got an audition for, POTUS. Uh No, that's not a good one because I didn't talk myself out of that one. Anyway, I can't go okay, so forget the specific part. I would get an audition. If it was for, something I really wanted, like a TV series or something, I would immediately, "Oh, I'm not I'm not thin enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm too old. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not a big enough I'm not whatever it was, pick one." And I would and it was a really sort of an a very unhealthy way of protecting myself, I thought.
From
But what it was
rejection.
from rejection. I'm gonna talk myself out of this job before you don't give it to me, motherfuckers. You know. Um, and when I realized that I was doing that, it was shocking because I really took it in and I really felt my deep self-sabotage that I skated by, still managed to work a little bit in all that time, but it was self-sabotage, and I know specifically where that came from for me, that was a lot of it was a lot of, coexisting factors. But when I finally sort of took my power back and said, "Oh, I have agency here. Now I get an audition
Mhm.
and I will literally go, 'Oh, this one's mine. Oh, they want I don't know who they're going to cast, but I'm the best person for this job and I'm going to send in the best tape I can. I'm going to do the tape 15 times if I have to get it to be where I feel like I'm sending in my best work.'" I had a experience earlier this year. I had become very conscious of how there'd been a shift in my attitude, and then I was getting more traction in work from feedback and jobs and stuff. And beginning this year, I had an audition for a Chicago Med, and I got the thing, and I was like, "Oh, this is me. This is perfect. I am their girl." And something happened with my reader during my audition. She gave me a note I didn't like or something. I don't know. I just got annoyed. I got annoyed. I was like, it's fine. And I sent in the tape. And the second I sent it in, I had a feeling in me. And the feeling was that wasn't your best work. Why did you send that? Why are you selling yourself short? And sure enough, and for 2 days, I had that thought. I was like, "Damn, I really threw that. Why did I throw that?" You know? And my agent calls 2 days later and says, "Hi, this tape won't upload. Can you it just like, can you send it again?" And I went immediate my first thought was, I had joy. I said, "Yes, I can." I ran into my little self-tape room here. I called my friend Renee. I said, "Renee, can you jump on the phone with me for 10 minutes?" She said, "Yeah." She jumped on. I redid the tape that I'd been knew and I could do better for 3 days. I sent it in, and then I felt great. And the next day I said to my girl, I said, "I can't believe I haven't heard from them yet." The next day, I got the offer.
Hey,
I got the fucking offer that I knew was mine.
there you go.
So anyway, it's things like that. And then so that's the universe reinforcing my positive presence with my work and my career. That's the universe going, "Yes, Dee Dee.
Yeah.
Yes. Even if I hadn't gotten it, even if I didn't book it, and frankly, I booked it and watched it, I didn't think I was that great or anything. I was like, "Oh, I could have done this better. I would have done that better
Right.
differently. I would have done it differently." I'm rarely satisfied with what I see. I don't watch my work ever because I'm never satisfied, but I had great satisfaction in that moment of all of those moments because I won't repeat that same mistake again. And I try to instill in all of the people I help tape, actors, younger actors that ask me, it is so easy to just get very complacent and very negative with your self tapes because you're just sending things into a void, it feels like. And so, what's the real action there? Well, I guess the real action is for me to claim my agency with just the moment of taping and
Mhm.
and make my action creating my best work so that I can take the action and let go of the result. Um I oh my gosh, that's going to start dinging on our podcast. I hope you didn't hear it because if I mute that, I'm not going to be able to hear you. Anyway, I took that as a great lesson, and I hope that helps somebody else.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you feel like made the tape good? Like what makes your self tapes like when you said you knew that and you threw it away intentionally, you got
Well,
frustrated.
yes.
But
Well, I have
were there any
we all
specific moments that you
sure.
thought I just needed to like get a little more intimate in this level or change my tone? Was
Well,
there
in
anything
some of the
technical?
work, yes. In some, I'm sorry to mean to interrupt you, Rashad.
Yeah.
In some of my work, it's a very, guest starring is very specific in terms of how they write the arcs of the roles. There's the beginning, middle, and the end. There's the crying mother. There's the moment in the emergency room where the daughter wakes up from the coma. It's a very specifically written reaction that they want to see that I have, in my wheelhouse in terms of where the teardrops. I can do that. I can make the teardrop on the blink after the final moment because that's what they've written, and I'm a little bit like a trained circus monkey at this point in terms of how I can execute that work. So for me, I have a certain amount of pride in being able to, deliver to the man what the man requires. And the
Yeah.
man writes the same thing a lot, even if it's a woman writing it. So I knew I hadn't hit that note. I knew that the tear didn't drop when it was supposed to, and I watched the tape back, frankly, and thought, I don't buy me. I don't buy her. I don't buy her.
Yeah.
I'm sending it anyway. So my particular ism would be I need to buy it.
Yeah.
I just need to be able to buy it. And if I buy it, then I can send it. And so that's what I try to do now. I try to have my feeling at the end of if I'm watching my tape, do I buy that?
Hmm.
And that's a hard thing because sometimes you just don't, you know, I don't wanna. I don't care if you buy it. I haven't ordered these self tapes. You know, it can be, my greatest strength is my greatest curse. I have a very active imagination, and I must be able to continue to encourage the ability to get quiet with myself and just do my good work and send it off. Now, some people maybe don't even struggle with that. Maybe you don't. Maybe you every time are like, I'm doing great work and I know how to do it and but I struggle with that. I'm always lassoing myself back in. And um, I think my ability to show up as an actor has grown concurrently and right alongside my ability to show up for myself as a person.
Yeah.
And the more I am accepting of and grateful for my own humanity, the more forgiving I can be for myself as an artist and with other people.
Yeah.
I can be more generous with other people, other artists. Yeah.
So what do you do in between the time you're not working and what's the longest period you've gone without just having a job?
Years. I went a year once.
1 year.
Uh, Yeah, I want a year. Oh, I think you know what? That's a very interesting, but I've definitely gone a year for sure. Back in the day when I was driving the limo. Um, and COVID certainly. I mean,
Yeah,
but
for most people.
which I know that, doesn't count, but when you're an actor and you're not on a stage for years, wow, it really it affects my spirit.
Mhm.
Um, at one point I had gone, I think this was back in the day when I first was doing The Wire, and I moved to Los Angeles, and I was getting lots of other guest star stuff, and suddenly it had been like 5, 6 years that I hadn't done a play. And boy, did I feel it. My soul was checked out because a lot of my auditioning and my television work back in that time, just I was like felt like a talking head. No, there was nothing really from here down. So I think I have rectified that in myself, but I'm very conscious now of how I spend my time in between auditions and jobs. I write, I take care of my body in myriad ways because I'm getting up there. I
What do
try.
you do?
Well, I have a personal. I made a decision a year ago to stop giving my. I shouldn't say this, but I will. I decided to reroute my funds that were being spent on commercial theater to myself. So I have a personal trainer I work out with 2 to 3 times a week, 2 times a week. Now I can't afford 3 times a week, or I would. I completely, for my spirit, for my weightlifting, which was also recovery from my hand injury. I almost lost my hand in a freak elevator accident a year ago,
Sorry.
August 3rd last year. This is my hand now. I can do. We can't see. Well, anyway, I have a scar that runs from here, from my middle finger, all the way around to here.
Oh wow.
Um, and I consciously stopped spending my money on commercial theater and redirected it to personal training and diet. I only um, attempt to eat foods from the farmer's market. I'll buy my meat and all my vegetables there because I developed a real attachment to how my body felt when I started to eat non-processed foods and no sugar and no dairy, which my diet's been pizza for 50 years, pizza, bread and cheese was my staple. So I redirected my cash to myself because I was also very disillusioned with commercial theater and not wanting to participate in the same way that I had been. So that was a very real thing for me, and my physical recovery from this accident has been very transformational for me, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And it has freed my mind in a way that I never imagined. I have very strong opinions now about corporate America and how they treat the rest of us. I have a very strong sense of my well-being thriving when I don't participate in that system. I know I sound like a woo-woo kind of lunatic, but I have to say it works for me, and I'm happier than I've been in a long time because I'm not telling myself that I have to behave or eat or entertain or exist in a way that I am told that I have to, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. I don't know.
If there's no, it makes sense. If, so if there's one thing about the industry that you would want to change, what would it be?
Access. I would want the industry to invite the full diversity of who we are to participate. I would also like the industry to offer itself to everyone in terms of how we participate. That's not the way it operates. We're in a capitalistic, result oriented, we show you this, you buy this system. And I don't, mm, Grandma doesn't want to play anymore. Ah, yeah. And my that probably sounds general and not very helpful, but that's the way I feel.
Uh-huh. Um, you said that when early in your career, the agents told you that you worked for them. You didn't agree at the time, but you pretty much went along with it. What about now? Do your agents work for you now, and how do you get them to work for you? Do you hold meetings? Do you check in?
You know what? That's a great question, and gosh, first of all, I'm so grateful I have an agent because lots of people do not, and it's a tough gig these days. And but I have a great relationship with my agency. I'm with a firm called Stewart Talent now, and I love them very much. They are very not afraid of my directness. I'm very direct and I have a very large energy. So I can be, I'm a kind of person where generally people really like me or they really don't. And I'm okay with that. Not everyone can like everyone. I'm always attempt to lead with kindness. I always attempt to lead with authenticity. But I am direct and that's, lots of people can't take that. But I am probably overly direct with my agents now because I came from 15 years of baby being put in a corner.
Yeah.
I had a gig, I had a n- n- maybe recurring gig on the Blacklist for many years. It was never guaranteed. I never really had any other auditions while I was on the Blacklist, and we never even knew if I was coming back because it wasn't a negotiated guarantee. But I let myself uh listen to this that the agents were giving about don't you complain, little missy, you've got that. And I'd be like, but it's only 4 days out of the year. Could I do something else? I did that to myself with them, uh and vowed to craft a new relationship with my current agents.
Yes.
My current agent was my agent at another agency for 15 years, uh, back in the day in the 90s. And I loved him. We had a falling out through one of the other agents at the agency that moved me to Abrams, which was A3, which dissolved 6 months after I left them.
I love doing
Um,
that.
anyway, not that I would wish for anyone's unemployment, but I found it ironic somehow that
Mhm.
happened. But I had lunch with my agent last week. We hadn't seen each other in months and months and months, and suddenly it was like, wait, we need to sit down together. So we did. Um, and they are very efficient, very receptive to me. People my age had to transition out of this. We still don't believe we're not talking to our agents on the phone all the time because that's just the way you have a relationship,
You
it
used to do
seems.
that?
Oh, yes, that's the only way we would communicate, the phone. There
Yeah.
wasn't any other form of communication. Then the email came in, that was all woo. But now I have a mentee through the NYU program and they have an agent and they never speak to them ever because it's not the way we roll these days. I mean, it's all electronic, but I think it's important to try to grab some humanity out of that our digital existence here because maybe you do have to call your agent once every couple of months or once a couple times a year and say, "Hi, could we actually sit down and have lunch?"
Yeah.
Because everybody agents like connection also.
Yeah.
But it is something I am mindful about. I am very grateful that my agency and I have, I think, continue to develop our shorthand and how we relate. They are very. Everyone probably knows when Dee Dee's on the phone because Dee Dee's loud and Dee Dee doesn't pull any punches. but Dee Dee's never mean.
Yeah.
But Dee Dee's a lot. And I'm okay with that now. So I think because I'm okay with it, they kind of I think they don't they don't mind me.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe some of them like me. But anyway, I don't think I've answered the question. I think I should shut up.
Oh, it's okay. Last thing, because I know we have to go. Um, do you feel like everything you've said, all of this, you feel like you've made it?
Oh my gosh. You want the real answer?
I want the realest answer.
No. Made it. No. No, not at all. I still have I go like this when somebody refers to me as a minor celebrity. I'm like, "No, I'm not. Yeah. No, I don't think I've made it. I'm still waiting to get started, it feels like."
Really?
Yeah, yeah, uh, I do feel that it is incumbent upon me to be grateful and realize that I do have a body of work, that I do have some recognizable work for people. I'm not saying that that's not true. I know it's true. I enjoy it when people recognize me on the street and stuff like that. But until I think until I feel like, no, yeah, I don't even want to say what would make me feel like I've made it. Um, I just put, I'm taking a solo play to the Fringe Festival next August, and I certainly don't think I'll feel like I've made it when I'm doing 8 shows a week and, in a in a
Yeah.
basement outside of Greyfriars Bobby. I don't I don't know. When I was doing a Broadway show with Tom Hanks, did I feel like I had made it? Yes, there was a moment on stage every night where right before the end of the play where we would freeze. There was a moment like we were all clapping, and there was a freezing moment during that clapping moment where the entire cast was on stage. And one person would be speaking, and then a little song would break out, and then it was the end of the play. It was beautiful. George C. Wolfe directed it. It was lovely. And during that moment, as my hands were like this in the freeze, I would think to myself, my God, look where I've come. 3 years ago, I was spasming in bed with seizures and couldn't walk or talk, and I was a vegetable, and we didn't know if Dee Dee was coming back. We didn't
Wow.
get to that part in the podcast, but yeah, I had a moment on stage every night where the gratitude was so real and it was so circular because of the energy in that audience. And then I knew I had made it, but not in the way people would think that I was thinking I had made it. I
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
making it because I was on Broadway with Tom Hanks. I was standing up, I was functioning, and I had 1,000 people staring at me, or however many people that household, because there's never an empty seat in the house when you're doing a
it's
play with Tom.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, a rare experience that. That was the one. That's a moment I can point to where I was like, I have, it wasn't I've made it. It was like I'm here.
yeah. I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm still here, I guess. Yeah.
Really quick before you go, on your IMDb page, it says that you're from Abilene, Texas. Were you born there?
I was born there. I was born on there's an Air Force base in Abilene, Texas that my dad apparently was stationed at. And I was born there. And then we moved to Connecticut for a year and Pittsburgh for 6 years, and then an unfortunate series of events wound us up in northern Indiana, and that's where I stayed
All right.
for my upbringing
Yeah.
until I went away to college. Yeah.
Great, great. Well, we have some parallels there. I was born in Texas, in Houston. Um, and then as far as like working relationships, Glenn Thurman, and George C. Wolfe. So I got them all at once on the project Rustin, um, in Pittsburgh, actually, because we filmed in Pittsburgh. So, all these little
How about that? Yeah.
parallels there.
Isn't George like the one time I I have been Where'd you go?
Oh, hang on.
Okay.
There we go.
Um, I have been in the room with 2 people that have shared a room together when I wasn't there, but George C. Wolfe and Tony Kushner, the smartest people I have ever been around, but the encyclopedic knowledge, the breadth of knowledge, I I don't have any I don't even know how one could be that smart. I mean, I am so grateful for my time in rooms with those 2 men especially. Yeah, and I will never forget it. It's the gift of what you and I do. We get these opportunities to witness sort of extraordinary creative beings um that have informed our generation or
Yeah.
generations of people. And in those moments I also think I have made it.
Good stuff then.
Yeah.
Right. So the answer is kind of yes. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
made it in many different forms, in many different ways.
That's right. It's
Uh,
we're all still works in progress.
yeah,
I think when I stop evolving, that's going to be cause for worry, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep
Yeah.
evolving, keep on working, and
Mhm.
striving to be your best self. Right.
Yeah, and you know what? Don't be afraid to leave the parts that don't work behind you.
Yeah.
Just because they used to work doesn't mean they will continue to work. You know, some things are with us as they serve us until they no longer serve us.
Yes,
And then
ma'am.
it's time to look for the next and the new, or the next iteration at least, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you. Um, and wish you the best. I'll be seeing you around, of course, and can't wait to hear about more about your solo show.
Thank you, me too.
All right.
More will be
Are you
revealed.
done writing it, or?
Oh gosh, no, Rashad. No, 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 no. But you know what? I have enough faith to know that that's okay. It's okay.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Good stuff.
What a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'm sorry I talk so much, but it is a
That's what
podcast.
it's for. That's what it's
Yeah.
for us to hear from you. All right.
Uh,
Enjoy your day. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, Rashad. See you later.
Bye
See you at
bye.
the next one. Bye.
Cheers.
This is good, bro. Yeah. That's a wrap for this session in the waiting room. If this resonated with you, share it with another artist on the grind. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at In the Waiting Room Pod for more content and updates. If you're a working actor, head to our bio to fill out our survey. It helps us bring more voices into this community. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up. The waiting isn't wasted. See you next time. Peace.